following footage was uploaded to the channel Joel Wackley in late November 2025. In it, Joel and a small group of friends set out into the mountains of mid-Wales to spend the night in a remote Nant city in Bothy. They explain that this place was built back in the 1850s, a building that locals and past visitors now consider haunted, with dark stories about a tragic family still tied to these walls. Considering all this, they were fairly skeptical and were determined to investigate these claims to see if the stories held any truth. But as the valley outside turned pitch black, things quickly started to take a very strange turn. At one point, Joel mentioned hearing rustling in the darkness around the building, but for the moment, they weren't too worried about it. Eventually, they decided to dig out the logbook filled with handwritten entries from previous visitors. However, the moment they started reading through the journal, a far more disturbing backstory began to pour out from those pages.
Heard someone scream Hannah for about 10 minutes at 3 a.m. What? Felt something crawl on me, but I made it alive. Would have camped.
As soon as we arrived, there was a noticeable gust of air that hit us as soon as the door opened. It sounded like at least 2 of the upstairs doors slammed, and this freaked us out. We lit the fire around 7 p.m. The sound started again. It sounded like several crying children.
What?
Yeah, as soon as we stepped outside to investigate, the sound stopped. This is another story. It's just like, P.S. Ghost children featured in our dreams.
That's weird. They literally said the exact same thing as someone else on a different beach.
Supposedly, this Bothy is haunted by the mother of Wales, who all passed away. Apparently, Kane hears noises at night, whistle. Everyone was asleep, and no one knows what could have been.
Oh, bro, I'm reading it, I get goosebumps.
Right, okay, so I'm going through this book. I don't know, one of them said about the history of the family.
Yeah.
And like
Father and children.
Yeah, the children.
And the mother committed suicide.
Yeah. So very
The mother
sad
committed
story.
suicide.
Yeah, I think that's why it's supposedly haunted. But yeah, here it says.
Whoa, what was that?
Do you hear that? What the fuck was that?
What?
That just moved.
What was
You
it?
seen it just move.
What was it?
The saw just slipped.
I did that.
Nah, but bro, that happened earlier.
I was about to read this.
And he's about to read it.
It says, right, one thing I will say. I was woken up in the early hours to the doorknob of the room being rattled. No one was here with us. Fuck that. Also regardless.
As they went through the logbook, they discovered chilling accounts of paranormal activity, and the saw falling on its own didn't feel like a coincidence at all. What made this situation even more bizarre was that different visitors described nearly identical experiences independently. Doors slamming shut on their own, voices screaming, and claims about ghost children appearing in their dreams. All entries describing almost the exact same thing. The group by now was completely shaken by what they had just read. Still, they went upstairs to close all the doors, then came back down to see if they would hear anything unusual, just as visitors had experienced in the logbook. But to their shock, when they went back up, one of those doors had mysteriously opened on its own.
That door is wide open. Right, let's close this place. Well, that door's shut, that door's shut, and that door's shut. We're not going to come upstairs. If we hear anything, we'll go up there. And any doors are open or anything like that, we know. I've never stayed in a place intentionally knowing that it's haunted. Oh, bro, that was closed?
Where should I set the GoPro?
Did that just open on its own a bit? Look at it, look at the door. I don't want to be the last one down, but...
What's on here then?
That was so...
Sounds like someone's just pacing back and forth from that room to the other room.
Why are you breathing so deep, bro?
I don't know. Oh, my heart is racing.
Oh my
Bro,
god.
I'm just cheating.
Bro,
My heart is racing.
Yeah, now I found it cold in his.
That was a full pace, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that door's closed. So where are they going?
Oh, my days, I don't know.
With the footsteps coming from the floor above them, the explorers were completely shaken and couldn't make sense of what they were witnessing. Plus, the fact that they had just read the logbook, which had an entry about a similar incident to theirs, made the whole situation feel even stranger and more unsettling. But despite all the noises above, they decided to stay and try to sleep, rather than go upstairs to investigate. However, as they settled down and tried to calm themselves, the footsteps started again, and this time they were far louder and closer.
Bro, that wasn't steps, that was like a jump.
Fud, bro.
They were like getting somewhere now.
We just heard the loudest thud upstairs
What's your
and
opinion?
banging upstairs.
Shh. Shh. How's that? Whoa.
Just write it down, bro.
Yeah.
That sounded like music, bro.
I think so.
Shh, I saw that.
No way. How did you say that? Yes. What? Bro,
Fuck off.
Okay, so one of the things that is reoccurring that people hear is classical music, and we can hear classical music.
There was like a nice tune.
It was like a ding, ding.
It was like, it sounded like hard.
What was that?
Is that the door? Yo, that was the front door latch moving there.
Yo, listen to the humming. You can hear that. Oh my god.
What the hell?
Yo.
Shh.
Oh my god.
What the hell? What?
Home, actually, no, get me out of here.
No.
What do you mean, no? Bro, what the?
After hearing that eerie sound of classical music echoing through the building, the group was completely terrified and couldn't sleep for the rest of the night. Most of them spent the remaining hours in silence, wide awake, listening to every sound and not daring to move, while others managed a couple of restless hours of sleep. By morning, they emerged from the Bothy still shaken but relieved to see daylight. After everything they had witnessed, they quickly packed up and left, but even as they were walking away, they kept talking about how unexplainable the entire night had been. They admitted it was one of the creepiest places they had ever stayed, with doors opening on their own, footsteps pacing above them, and the classical music with no real source. And all of it made them feel like something was watching them, and they said the logbook entries had been far more real than they ever expected. In conclusion to these events, the eerie music they heard in the middle of that remote Welsh valley remains one of the most unexplainable moments of the entire night. With no houses nearby and no obvious source, the sound of a clear classical tune just hanging in the darkness was something none of them could rationalize, and the truth behind what they encountered that night remains buried beneath those mountains. The following footage was uploaded to YouTube by the channel Forgotten Baltics in October 2022. In it, an urban explorer from Latvia ventured into an abandoned multi-story apartment building in the city center of Riga. Initially, his exploration went smoothly. He made it inside without any issues, slipping through the entrance undetected. He was planning on exploring this massive abandoned complex that was supposed to be renovated soon, and he wanted to document this place before it was too late, though he knew it was still under heavy surveillance. As he pressed on deeper into the building, he found a shoe left behind in one of the rooms, which made him question whether someone else was inside with him. But apart from that small discovery, everything was going according to plan. However, not long after this, everything changed when he unknowingly walked through a security alarm, and it triggered immediately upon his entry.
So when I entered this building, I triggered a security alarm, but I hope that nobody will come. Oh, there is a security car, so I need something to do, somewhere to hide. So right now I'm going to the last floor and I'm going to hide there. I don't expect that security can come here, so this is a surprise for me. I really need somewhere to hide, so I'm going to hide somewhere here. Yes, it is a good place to hide. I hope they won't come here to check me. Well, I'm quite scared. So now I will stay here around half an hour, and I hope that security won't go inside this building.
The explorer was now trapped inside that confined space, and with the alarm blaring and security guards closing in, he had no choice but to hide and hope they wouldn't find him. During this time, he mentioned he had been there previously and had also triggered the alarm system, and no one showed up then. But this time, he was stunned, since they arrived almost immediately, and it was clear this wasn't a routine check. As he stayed hidden inside that crate with his heart pounding, he heard noises coming from below as the guards searched through the building. All of this completely shook him, as he knew getting caught now, especially after triggering the alarm, would almost certainly not end well and would likely lead to his arrest. And then just as his fears were creeping in, one of the worst moments happened. The noises grew louder, and it looked like the guards were approaching his direction.
Nu ko tu domā? Sauksim policiju? Nu nē, es domāju, ka nav šeit neviena. Ne, nu redzu, ka kāds policis dzīvo 2 nedēļas atpakaļ. Bet mēs taču neredzējām nevienu. Nu jā. Labi, tad braucam laiku.
Well, it seems that there is no more security, but still I need to be very quiet. So when I was hiding at this last floor, security was searching for me in this building. I guess they checked every stairs, but they didn't see me in this metal box.
Even with the security guards leaving the building, the explorer still chose to stay hidden inside for almost the next hour, since he had been too close to getting caught earlier, and he wanted to be 100% sure before making any moves. He didn't want to take any risks after everything that had happened, and he suspected they might still be waiting outside, lying in ambush, just waiting for him to make a mistake. After what felt like an eternity, he finally decided to make his escape, knowing he had to walk past the same alarm system again, since it was the only way out. But this time, he needed to be extremely quick so he could get out without anyone catching him.
And I hope that there is no more security, and I need to go very fast from here, because now I will trigger an alarm one more time. So here is an alarm. Where it is? Yeah, it is here. Yes, alarm is triggered, so we need to go. So hopefully today they don't catch me and I managed to get away from there. Bye bye, not today.
Fortunately for the explorer, after everything he went through that night, he was able to make an escape and leave that building without being caught. But just how close all of this had been to going very wrong was genuinely alarming. The guards had been so close when he hid behind the crate earlier, barely a few feet away from discovering him. And even during the escape, they were once again approaching the building at the exact moment he triggered the alarm. It was a miracle he got out without being spotted, and this exploration could have ended in complete disaster in so many different ways. But instead, he walked away with the footage, and a story he'd never forget. Nevertheless, the explorer's determination to stay hidden, and more importantly, his patience to wait for the right opportunity paid off, and he ultimately managed to document and make it out of this apartment complex in Latvia without getting arrested. This video was originally uploaded to the channel Simple Sakhalin in June of 2026. The footage followed the creator Max as he investigated an abandoned Soviet-era school buried deep in the forests of Russia. He explained that a local fisherman told him about this school, warning that the real danger at this location wasn't people, but indeed bears, drawn by the endless fish in the river nearby. So he armed himself with a can of pepper spray and a pair of flashlights and cautiously approached the building. Inside, the atmosphere was extremely eerie, like he was stepping into a place straight out of a horror movie. But as he kept moving, things only started to get worse. In one area, he started finding personal items scattered everywhere, while in another, he found items that had been deliberately stored and even looked organized, as if it had become a makeshift home or hidden shelter, rather than a true abandoned ruin. However, just as that unsettling thought was settling in, he suddenly started to hear noises coming from somewhere deep inside the building.
Жутковатенько, однако. Такая тишина. Смотрите, походу здесь есть электричество. Имеется счетчик, и все практически подсоединено. Какие-то звуки странные, но скорее всего это из-за дождя. В общем, света нету, что реально это было. Ну, я надеюсь, что это просто мышки там. Вокруг все-таки лес. Какие-нибудь бурундуки, я не знаю. Ну, какие-то звуки там имеются. Воу! Эй! Что-то меня прям трясет, если честно. Да что ж такое-то?
Although Max had heard those noises multiple times, he wasn't entirely sure what to make of them and had no idea whether it was just the rain or something else entirely. He eventually decided to move on and leave that area altogether. But as he pushed deeper into the building, he kept hearing more noises from the same direction, and at one point he even came across a room that was boarded up and completely inaccessible, making it seem as though someone was on the other side of the door. So he made his way toward a different part of the building, thinking he might have finally escaped whatever was making those sounds. However, the noises continued there as well, as if whoever or whatever was inside was now following and tracking his movements.
Эти беспонтовые звуки там вообще не в кассу на самом деле. Как же здесь стрёмно, друзья. Как будто кто-то реально там сейчас. Я прям сейчас отчетливо слышал, кто-то прошелся. Даже стрёмно просто к окнам подходить, если честно.
Shortly after this, he checked multiple rooms down the hallway, but unfortunately didn't find anyone there at all. Yet he did smell a strong odor of alcohol coming from that direction, which convinced him that there was definitely someone hiding somewhere inside. Still, he was not done with the investigation and was determined to find out the source behind all the commotion. But just as he was moving through one of the last rooms, he suddenly encountered something extremely horrifying.
Стрёмно какая-то. Тут крыши нету. Я надеюсь, чуть не обвалится. Не обвалится.
Yeah.
After being severely hurt during that chaotic mess, he immediately rushed back to his car and drove to the nearest town. He eventually stopped on a street to explain to the audience what exactly happened there. He claimed that someone was hiding in the room on the right side, just out of his sight, who suddenly jumped out and attacked him, knocking him to the floor. The attacker apparently was using a wooden stick and hit him in the face with extreme force, causing a burning sensation and visible swelling around his eye. During the struggle, his phone was also smashed badly, along with several pieces of his filming equipment. As for who the person was, he thinks the attacker was a homeless person who was in the building first, probably living there all along. But he wasn't too sure why the person reacted in such an aggressive manner. In conclusion to these chilling events, Max was clearly in shock and shaken by the whole ordeal, and he warned his viewers to never go into this abandoned school in Russia alone, especially at night.